Alright guys, so terrible news has been released today from Hearts of Midlothian, and Jamie Walker has officially left the club. He's going to join Wigan Athletic in the English League One on an undisclosed fee. So we've no idea how much the fee is going to be. I mean, I'm praying to God it's at least $1 million, but I do honestly believe Walker is worth 2.5, maybe even $3 million. I think he's a really good player, and obviously only 24 years of age. He's still going to improve, and he's got his peak years ahead of him, no doubt about it. But as disappointing as this news is, I mean, I think it was expected. Realistically, we knew it was only a matter of time. Jamie Walker wasn't going to see out his career here at Hearts. He wasn't going to be here long term. It was only a matter of time, and if it hadn't have been in this transfer window, it would have probably been in the summer. And if it hadn't have been in the summer, then, although let's be honest, it would have been in the summer, but it would have happened within the next fucking year, 18 months, guaranteed. I guess the only positive is that he didn't go to Rangers. I mean, so they're not strengthening at our expense, but I guess you could argue that it's bad for Scottish football that one of the best players in the league, and I do believe he is in his position. He is one of the best. I mean, I think he would get a game for Celtic. Honestly, do believe that. I'm not saying he'd start for Celtic, but I mean Celtic would take him if he was offered to go. If Celtic were offered Jamie Walker, Celtic would definitely take him. So disappointing that not only does he leave Hearts, he leaves Scottish football. And but like I said, I mean, it's kind of like the end of an era with all that youth talent that came through from 4 or 5 seasons ago. Your Callum Pattersons, your Sam Nicholsons, your Jason Holtz. Like Jamie Walker was kind of like the last one out of that bunch. I guess you could say Jack Hamilton, but I mean, Jack Hamilton's kind of been out of form for a while now. He doesn't even start for us, so I guess that's not really a good comparison, however. But yeah, Jamie Walker, one of the last, the last kind of player from that golden youth. I'm not going to say it's like the United 90s youth squad, but I mean, we had a lot of good players coming through at that time. But I guess, I mean, it's a new era now. We're under Lefine, we're on a rebuilding stage, and we just got to accept that part of this rebuilding stage is losing Jamie Walker. And it's difficult, it is, but I mean, I think we've got to look at the positives this season. I mean, we did bring in Christoph Berra and Kel Lafferty, 2 huge signings for us. And if you'd asked me that we'd have signed them before the start of the season, I'd have said no chance, man. I'd have been delighted with those 2 signings alone. Then you seen the debut there of Harry Cochrane this season, and he had that great game against Celtic. So I mean, he could be a great player for the future. Defensively, we're all right. I think we're pretty good defensively. We're on this clean sheet run where we just cannot concede goals, which is great. We could do a bit more firepower, but I think we've got to give Craig Lefine time. I mean, I was not a big fan. I know he did alright with us at the first time, his first stint around 2003, whatever, 2004. But I'm still not forgiving him for the run of Scotland manager in that 4-6-0 formation against the Czech Republic. I'll never forgive him for that. And then I was really annoyed when he got the Hearts job, not because I think he's an awful manager. I just kind of felt like that had been his whole plan from the beginning. When Robbie Nielsen was there, I kind of felt like he wanted Robbie Nielsen out so he could take charge. I know they brought in Ian Cathro, but I mean, Ian Cathro was terrible. I think you knew from day one that, well, not day one, I mean, he did have a good 4-1 win over Rangers, but I mean, after that it went downhill, and Ian Cathro was never going to be the man to take Hearts forward. And then Craig Lefine steps into the position. I probably wouldn't have felt as bad if Craig Lefine just initially took over from Robbie Nielsen, but the whole kind of using Ian Cathro as like a stepping stone, it was like, I don't know, I did not enjoy that. But I've got to give Craig Lefine credit. When he first took over, like, nothing changed. First 4 or 5 matches, I thought, fucking hell, it's just like having Cathro. But since then, I mean, we have been hard to score against. We're hard to break down. We're defensively solid. Things are looking good for us. I just hope that we can bring in a few players, and hopefully this undisclosed fee is around like the £2 million mark, and it gives us some funds to bring in new players. But what I would like to see is bringing in some more British talent, Scottish players, English players, non-Irish, Welsh or whatever. I think we've seen that last season when we brought in 11 players in the January transfer window, most of them were foreigners, and they weren't good enough for the club. They didn't want to play for the shirt. I think we need players that want to play for the shirt, players that, you know, even Hearts fans. I mean, just players that like the club. And he's like a Kyle Lafferty. He's not a Hearts fan, but I mean, he's a Protestant. I guess that's not got much to do with it. But you can see that him playing for Hearts, it means a lot to him. Whereas someone like Ismail, it doesn't have the same connection. And I think we've seen this in the English Premiership sometimes. A lot of teams that bring in foreigners, maybe not at the top teams, but I think you find like the lower teams, when they bring in a heavy influx of foreigners, they tend to go down. The foreigners are just not in it. They don't have the fight. They don't have the battle. They're not determined. And I think that's what we've seen when Hearts brought in all those 11 signings last year in January. But anyway, there you go. Jamie Walker, he's left to go to Wigan. Upset? Yes. Surprised? No. Hopefully we can bring in some new players, and we'll see what happens in the transfer window. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time.